This is the shower time.
Order up!
Sizzling, flipping, serving.
Cakes are down, my eggs are already in. Look at me, I'm good.
Tuesday in West Bend at Skinny Vic's Diner and Coffee Stop, it was hard to steal 5 minutes with owner Vicki Lenners.
You're so busy that you have to chop pineapple and talk to me.
Every day is crazy, maybe because we're so short-staffed.
It's gonna be about 15 minutes.
4 women trying to keep up as the line grows.
We don't have a dishwasher, I don't have a buster, I don't have a host.
The chef says it's been a constant struggle to get workers post-pandemic.
Chefs, career servers, they were all forced to go find something else to do.
Sunday, she says patience ran out. Tired of rude customers, she shut down her diner and posted this sign on the door.
What happened? How did it get that bad?
The fact that they have to be snapped at, just the small snide comments, like the rude comment, it breaks them down.
She didn't care about business. She didn't care about losing money. She cares a lot about those employees.
And Vicki says since putting that sign up and closing early, the support has been overwhelming. In fact, customers even came out today just to show that they wanted to help her out.
I know that they're all working hard, so we just wanted to come out and support her when we saw the message.
I really hope that will help people understand what not only us, but everyone else is going through.
Fighting for her staff with a side of kindness.
It makes me want to cry. It's more than disappointing. It's devastating. I still got to pay rent, right? Can't just close my doors. But at the same time, I felt it was extremely important.
In West Bend, Hillary Mintz, WISN 12 News.
Skinny Vic's is high.
Excuse me, y'all. Welcome to the Gag-Order, where we challenge everyday norms and inspire change. I am Allee Major, joined by my fabulous co-host, Maie-Jean, and our special guest tonight, Yvette, a 20-year service working professional. Tonight's topic is incredibly important. We're getting into the mistreatment of waitresses in America. This is going to be an in-depth conversation on an exploration, and we have a lot to cover. But before we jump into the discussion, let's set the stage. Waitresses often face significant challenges, including low wages, harassment, and unfair treatment. Here are some key statistics to consider. Women make up approximately 66% of the workforce in the food service industry. The federal minimum wage for tip workers is $2.13 per hour and has went unchanged since 1991. Female servers tend to receive lower tips compared to male servers, who often earn $2 more due to tipping dynamics, they say. Nearly 90% of women in the workforce industry report experiencing some form of harassment, and 40% of tip workers live in poverty due to reliance on tips and low base pay. So, welcome to the show, and let's get into it. How you doing tonight, Yvette?
Good. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. I'm so thankful to have you here, and I thank you for the services you have committed to in your lifetime. Thank you. I do want to start this with a quick question, right quick. Let's see. Whoops. What's wrong with me tonight? Let's go. What are some common issues that waitresses face in their daily work environments?
Just harassment in general. Our job is to be nice, so we don't want anything in return. it's what we are hired to do. So, I mean, it can be tough sometimes, you know?
I bet. I bet. What
I
what
mean,
about it?
we're talking about, you know, customers. There might be some coworkers during, you know, over the years, or there's got to be some kind of situation. Lonely people. I mean, to be honest with you, I had to tell one of my customers that I, it was unprofessional to be her friend because she was making me uncomfortable.
Okay. Okay.
It's my job to be nice, you know? I mean,
But is there a line
it's
between nice? Is
nothing
there a line
more
between
than
nice?
that.
Is there a line between nice and friendship?
Yeah, but I think it was more than friendship for her.
Okay. See, this is where we
Yeah.
come misconstrued today. I don't know
Yeah.
a person's agenda. Maybe you knew
Yeah.
her agenda.
Yep.
Okay, let's keep on
it
track
was
right
just
quick. Let's
yeah.
keep on
Yep.
track right quick.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go. I really want to talk about. You see, I started this with wage disparities. I talked about men and I talked about women and how wage
Yes.
disparities play a part. So let's get some more facts going in here. Service workers often face significant challenges, including low wages, harassment, and unfair treatment. I just want to give
Yes.
some more statistic for people. And if you see up here, the federal minimum wage for tip workers, once again, is $2.13 per hour. It's been unchanged since 1991. That is a big factor. I don't understand. I know that some workers receive a little more than $2.13,
Yeah,
but the
depending on the
minimum,
state.
yes, but depending on the state, but the minimum
Mm-hmm.
wage, the federal minimum wage is only $2.13 per hour.
Yes.
Can you tell me what your job duties detail of?
So that's the tough part. Okay, so first off, I open the restaurant up. Okay, so I go in probably an hour before we open. I tend to set up the dish room because they don't do it. The prep guys don't do it. I pretty much do the stuff that was left over from the night before. Put all the glasses away, put all the silverware away, soak the dirty silverware that was left overnight. Am I getting off track or should I keep
No, no, no.
going?
You're fine. I asked you to discuss the details of your everyday work detail. That
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
like a
So I
lot.
don't know if you want me to still go into, well,
What you
pretty
told me
much
is a lot.
it is a lot. Yeah.
You know,
So,
it describes a job of not only a hostess but a laborer. That's what you're
yes.
telling me.
Yes,
You're
it
also
is.
a hostess but a laborer too. And each one of them doesn't a host get paid in the actual salary? They don't get paid by tips, do they? A host?
It depends on the restaurant.
Okay. All right.
Okay, our restaurant, they don't get tipped out, but I worked at Longhorns for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and they get tipped out 2.5%.
Okay. Okay, but is there is their pay scale the same as a waitress or a waiter? Excuse me.
No, they get minimum wage.
That's right. They get actual minimum wage, which is right
Yep.
now what, $13. It's around $12, $13. Okay. See, you guys see. I hear you in your job description, and it's
Yep.
describing, you know, having duties of all those included. So, you know, seeming as though it's $2.13 for the minimum
Yes.
wage to be, that's kind of ridiculous for a person to have to work for $2.13 an hour.
Yes.
I was in prison.
Yes.
That's good prison. That's good prison money, but that's not good in the world.
No. And the hard part was before we change over to corporate, my general manager let us get minimum wage for that hour. And then when we changed over to corporate, they want us to clock in as a server to do all that.
All right. That's
Yeah,
wild. That's wild.
I
That
know.
is a little wild. That's a little wild for me. But
And rumor has it all restaurants do that.
okay. So as I spoke of the wage disparities, I'm gonna say many states allow lower wage, as you said,
Hmm.
expecting tips to make up the difference, but many waitresses
Yes.
struggle to earn a livable income. As you see,
Yes.
I like to state facts, and I put them up here. Job insecurities. That's some of the things that they face inside wage disparities. You know, job security inside fast food is very. I figure it's very flipped. It's very high rate. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm losing words right now. You're gonna see. You got me a little nervous here. But I guess the turnover rates. Is crazy inside the service industry, and
It is.
that is kind of disarming to a person. It kind of leaves you in a state of limbo, not knowing if you'll have a job tomorrow. And that right there is
Yes.
that's a hefty feat to hold on to your mental.
Also, when your restaurant is going to close,
Hmm.
they do not tell you.
Okay. Okay.
So a lot of people don't know that. So like TGI Fridays closed 2 weeks ago, and a week later 99 closed.
Okay.
They did not tell any of their employees.
Okay. All right. I'd like to take a second right now and step back. How you doing today, May? How's you doing?
Good. How are
Hey.
you?
Hey. I'm all right. What's going on tonight? Huh?
No, not a lot.
Okay.
Got my
What?
little sister-in-law on tonight.
That's what's up. What about our conversation and about the service industry? Have you thought about so far in our conversation? Let me ask you.
Well, you know what had sparked my interest in this to begin with was that TikTok that I had shared with you a while ago. And essentially, it was this group of gentlemen that went out in a big city to a high-profile restaurant, and they wound up not tipping their waitress and instead giving her all kinds of pointers on how to be a better waitress.
Mm,
Um, and some of the points they made were that she didn't flirt with them, et cetera, et cetera. And my whole thing is like Yvette was just saying earlier, there's a fine line between me being friendly to you and doing my job in a professional manner and me having to solicit myself to you to be able to survive as a worker,
mm,
right? So that's where that's where the disparity comes in, is what is the line? Like, you know um they said she didn't smile enough, and all these different weird things. So that's what had got me interested in this to begin with. And I find that, like Yvette had said without really saying, these people are doing an awful lot of work just to try to create like a working salary for themselves. And I feel that our corporations and our industries really victimize these people because, again, they're doing the work of probably three people instead of one, and only getting paid for half a person,
mm.
and then being told, well, your personality has to make up the rest of it.
Absolutely.
So
Well, I want to throw a little wrench inside it. You know, I like to add a little controversy inside things. So let me show you guys something. Okay, so now we're gonna bring this back. Now we're gonna bring this back times. Okay, now I understand in the service industry that we do have a lot of assholes that come in as patrons. We do. We have a lot of assholes who come in and make you do a lot of running back and forth to get their services. And May, you just said a big topic that made me throw that little wrench in there. You know, there are times when patrons are asking much, especially when it's $2.13 or $6 and what'd you guys say, 38 cents? This shit is
Yes.
fucking, that's fucking ridiculous to make a person go back and forth and get you and expect them to give you A1 service for $6 or $2. Like seriously, let's face realities here. That's underappreciated work. I will say that. But at the same time, we do face waitresses and waiters and hosts that don't really give a shit. They don't care about their
Yes.
job. You know, so what do you have to say about that, Yvette?
No, there's not. I call it passion. There's no passion for the job. If you care about your job and you care about giving that person that ultimate experience, it will show up in your pockets. To be honest with you, it will.
Okay, mandatory minimum for what tipping is what 20%, right? It's like 20%.
I don't know. Is it?
I
I
mean,
mean, is that 18% still there? I don't know. For
Okay.
me, it's
Well,
not.
when they add the gratuity, it's 18%.
Okay, they advertise
Yeah.
20. I've heard
Restaurants
20 so
around here
much in my
that will
fucking
add
life.
18%.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, good service, it should be 20.
I agree. I agree that if a person is running back and forth and making sure that your glass is not empty and making sure
Yes.
that you're satisfied with your
Yes.
visit, I believe that they don't technically they do, but technically they don't. Their only job is to bring you fucking service, give you your plate, and say, you know, have a nice day. That's their, you know, as long as they do their X, Y's, and Z's, you know, but it, you know, to go above and beyond and to make sure that a person is satisfied. Now that's a good way. That's a good waitress or waiter, and
Yep.
I believe that they deserve to get there. They deserve to get paid.
Absolutely.
They could come
I
to
mean,
you
especially
like I just
if
showed
you're
you.
working extra hard, you're
Yeah.
going to be extra busier than everybody else for a
Yes.
reason.
Yes, true. But service that I just seen up there with the girl, no matter. Okay, now mind you, I seen the situation. It was 3 females there, and they were videotaping her. I don't know what altercated beforehand, but I do know that her job is. I know she didn't do her job at that point. She turned and she was angry, and from that point she was belligerent as a waitress. I know that.
Yes. Some people, and some people just don't want to be there. They don't want to work. They don't want to be there.
She could have had a happy day. Her day could have went so fucking well, and then those 3 women could have came in there, and at first just been so snide and so rude, like she's just, you know, like she's just the lowest piece of crap because she's a waitress. And then, you know, how is she supposed to feel?
Sometimes I feel like it's a test, to be honest with you.
It could be.
I have people who just have an attitude from the start. And then I'm like, okay, I need a challenge. Okay, let's do this. And then, you know, they come up and leave me this ridiculously good tip in cash. And I swear it was a test.
I seen that too.
They go like, thank you so much. You were amazing.
They got plenty of those. You're absolutely right.
Maybe the girl didn't want to be filmed. So if I was a server, I don't know how I would feel about the whole phone thing. You know, everybody wants to Snapchat everything. You know, maybe you're having an off day. Maybe you don't feel whatever. Maybe you just don't want people to put you out there like that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that upsetting someone.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And especially if you're saying, please don't listen. And I've had that happen to me as a nurse, where I say to people, please don't film me. You know, like I'll be walking in people's apartments and stuff, and these kids will film me or whatever. And in this day and age, you really can't say anything. So what's your recourse?
Yeah, you're kind of caught in a little catch in these days right here. You know, you're right or you're wrong. You're wrong if you're wrong. So I don't know how they expect a person to move in today's times. You know, disrespect and what do they call it? Damn it, what's wrong with my discrimination and disrespect is a thin line. But we have to as citizens be able to know how to move in certain situations. We have to be more tactful as citizens, and we can't have a job and expect to keep a job, or be a business owner and expect to be a business owner if you do not know how to treat people. Let's face it. Let's just face it in this life. If you do not know how to treat people, that right there is one of the most low life thing that a person could do. I heard a lot of rich guys, they get money and they want to treat people like crap. That's not really the object. That's not what you do. It's not really what you do.
Yep.
But that's what they choose to do. So I have a question for you ladies. How does the tipping system contribute to the exploitation of waitresses or waiters, especially when it comes to women? Can I get my guest Yvette to answer these questions? That's why I'm asking. Yvette, you are the most knowledgeable person inside the room when it comes to these questions at hand. So please avert to any question that I have. I would love to hear from your experience first.
Yeah, I think, it might depend on the person. You're waiting on. A woman might tip you less than a man. Just because you're a woman.
Okay.
Sometimes I do feel that way. And will it change? No, it's not going to change.
You're right.
That's why you give the husband the bill.
Oh shit!
Absolutely.
And she co-signs. Look at that shit. Okay.
But when my coworker Jason, he's so cute. But you give the woman the bill. It's just like that. You do a flip flop.
Okay.
He's gonna get the better tip from the woman.
Okay. Do I feel that gender matters about tipping? With me, gender does not matter with tipping. I don't get mad because a guy waiter came over to mine. You know what, guys, especially when they're working, and like, for real, I ain't got no problem with them. Like, seriously, he had good service or she had good service. I got a problem when they come with the automatic I've been here for 8 hours and I'm mad type of attitude. That type of attitude kind of makes me just sit back. But at the same time, I have to think, it doesn't really matter. I'm not giving him or her more money because she is a female. It just don't work that way in my book. I don't really think of it on that level. Even when it comes to Hooters and Pretty Woman, or I say Hooters, but not all of them are pretty. But yet still, I use it as an example. So I will say, like, seriously, it doesn't matter whether it's male or female. I know for a fact that service matters, and that's what matters in my eyes. So if I speak as a regular, average person who goes to restaurants, I'm gonna tell you that maybe I'm not a female, so I don't know. It seems to me, in my eyes, that the female beef goes way, 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 way deeper than I ever can imagine. So two females can enter a room and not even know each other and then dislike each other offset. Men can happen that way too, but it's not really quite always that way. You know what I mean? But it seems to be that way. So maybe inside, maybe there is some animosity, but I don't know. It doesn't come from me, and I don't think men like me bring that type of energy.
Yeah, and I feel like certain people don't realize they're doing it either.
Okay.
Because I do have a coworker who just has an RBF completely, and a guest complained about her, and I don't know if she knows how bitchy she looks.
Okay.
It's not really welcoming.
No, it's not. It's not inviting. It's not, it's definitely not making me want to have you as my waitress if you act like that. And it's like, okay, look, I'm not expecting to get good service from you automatically. It's like the old ladies that come in there with an attitude. They're working with an attitude already. I don't know why they have an attitude, but they have an attitude, and then they'll come by and then they'll disappear and won't come by for the whole time you're there, and then they'll come by to drop you the check and look like you should give me a tip. You know, that's not the, you know, I'll give her something, but I don't know if I'm willing to give her 20%. I'm gonna just keep it 2,000 and
Yeah.
above.
Yeah.
You know, I like it when I enjoy my time sitting at a restaurant. So the better
Yeah.
I
And
enjoy my
the
time,
old
the
people
more.
are so cute. They come with Christmas cards and everything for the holidays.
I I feel that it is a level of exploitation on all levels, right?
Okay.
Because you are selling yourself. You
Okay.
know, you are essentially a cross between a prostitute and an actress, right? Because you're selling your personality and you're getting people to be invested in you to give you a tip.
I'm gonna
Like Yvette
gag
said,
that,
you're
May. I'm gonna have to gag that, May. I think you're selling a
no,
service. You're not
it
selling your
it's true.
body, or you're selling a
It's like
service.
that. Okay, so if you get a waitress who's disheveled, who looks like she hasn't taken a shower in a week, you're going to be less likely to give her a better tip than someone who has their hair done, their makeup on, their teeth brushed, that smells good, that's
May, I
smiling at
don't
you,
want the lady
that's
who
very
looks dirty to serve me food at all. They got to give me a new waitress. They got to give me a new waitress because she's not bringing my fucking food.
but this is so you're selling yourself. You're selling
Hygiene.
you are selling yourself to a degree. I mean, obviously not to the same degree, but it is one of those professions like the entertainment industry where a big part of your job depends on how much you can engage your quote unquote audience, right? And the guest is your audience. So the better job you
Yeah,
do
she's
in
right though. She's right.
All right, I'm gonna keep
Because
it
half
about. I'm
the
gonna keep it 2,000
reason
with y'all ladies because I'm feeling
ha-
itchy right now.
half the reason we didn't close was because of our regulars.
Okay, like
The
I said, I'm gonna
loyalty
keep
of
it
our
2,000 with y'all
regulars.
ladies because I'm feeling a little itchy. Women know that men are stupid. Women know that if they come around and give any kind of energy that they're more likely to get a bigger tip. Women know these factors. They know these factors that if they flirt and play with that these guys will be more willing to try to show off in front of their guy friends and give them more money. They know it. When it backfires, it's fucked up, but they know that's it from the door. All right. So like seriously, May, I disagree with the whole that you're put there to sell yourself. You're not really selling yourself. You could technically, they came to a restaurant to enjoy a plate. So you could technically bring them their plate. You can make sure they got their drinks, disappear, come back. If they give you any advances as a woman, you can say, "Excuse me, sir, I'm at work. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you, but I'm at work and my job is to bring you your food." So you bring them their drinks and make sure that their drinks are filled. And then you leave again. You don't really have to smile. You don't really have to do anything that you're encouraged that you're saying. It does bring more of a happy vibe to you, which then brings a more different energy from your customer. But technically you don't have to do shit. But bring that food and make sure
right.
they
You
drinks are
asked
full.
how it affects your tipping, and it is going to affect how they tip you. If
Okay,
I come up to a table like this
come on, give
and
me a
take your
man.
order, it's completely different than if I come up and I'm like, "Hi, how are you today? My name's Maie-Jean. I'm gonna be your server. You know, these are our specials. So, you know, what are you guys feeling like tonight? Like, you know, oh, I would recommend, you know, this. Like, I had this for lunch today here. Like, that is what's gonna get your tip. It doesn't matter how clean and whatever. If you're stone faced and not engaging your clients or your customers, you know, it's the same thing like with home care. I have to a sense, you know, like my kids call it my customer service voice. Like I talk to my clients in a very specific way and I'm very, you know, whatever. And I present myself in a specific way because if I go in there like Nurse Ratchet and have a puss on my face, they're going to call and complain about me. And it's the same thing here. So what you're saying is only true to a point. Like, can they fire me for that? No. But am I going to get employee of the year? No. So at that
Guy
point,
waiters
it's
don't
like,
go through these issues. Guy waiters don't really go through these issues right here. And I don't know why. I don't know what the separation is. Because not all patrons are men. A lot of times they come with their family and their wives. Now, if you work at so say Hooters or a strip
You
club, and you're a waitress at a strip club, then it's a different story. You're in a different ball game. But if you're at a restaurant, Denny's, or any of these, your IHOPs or any of these, you're coming to. There are times. Don't get me wrong. I remember getting out the club at 3 a.m. and going to IHOP and being in there, having fun. But like I said, it's not always directed like that. So I can't put it like that unless that's what it is, and that then you're putting yourself in the environment of a strip club. May, I need you to clarify it for me. Because for real, I think as a waitress in a regular situation, such as Denny's or IHOP or any one of these little daytime restaurants, like seriously, I don't think they flirting is a
That
different story.
I'm not saying flirting.
Yeah.
Flirting is, oh hey,
engaging.
you're so handsome, but it's your customer service self.
Yes.
It's putting that happy, smiley,
Yes.
engaging self on, which is
Okay. Okay.
which is flirty
Okay.
to a degree. Like, it's not like me, pulling down my shirt and making sure my tits are out to serve you, but it's more over of the, like, a more mild version of it.
Okay.
And you
Got
Yeah.
you.
have to, when you deal with the public, you have to present yourself to that degree somehow, or people are not going to like
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
it,
I
right? Do you
feel
agree
like
with that?
I feel like you're right in certain situations. Casinos, Hooters, shit like that. You're absolutely right.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
What do you think, Yvette?
Yeah.
I
What's your
absolutely agree with you.
which
Like,
one?
you
Which one?
really have to engage with people.
Huh.
I mean,
Okay.
like, so they come back. I mean, oh, we're going to come back and ask for you. Great. So why
Mm-hmm.
do you think we're one of the restaurants that didn't shut down? Because a
Okay.
bunch of us do that, including the men.
Okay. She said including
Absolutely.
Yep.
the men. She said including the men.
Including the
Okay.
men.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Because we got to bring something different. Like, a bunch of us really were like, what's going to make our restaurant survive? This is our job.
Okay. So basically, yeah, it would be the vibe, the host and the waitress that keeps people coming by and keeps people coming through. So you're absolutely right. I agree with you
Hmm.
100%. You're absolutely right. I
So
agree
why can't, like,
100%.
remember the pretense for the bar cheers,
Mm,
right? It's like people want to go where everybody knows your name. So it's the same thing. Like,
Yes.
people want to walk in and have you smile at them and have them be like, "Oh, hey, Yvette, how's the kids?" And have you
Yes.
be like, "What are the specials today?" Or when you walk in, have the waitress say to them, "Oh, Bob, you're here this week. I know you love the pot pie. That's our special. We've
Yep.
been waiting for you. I got your table ready." Like, that's what people want. They want to feel that
Special.
vibe, like that connection,
Yes.
right? That specialness.
You're connecting on a
Absolutely.
different level.
that's
It's
right.
not just black and white. It's not just restaurant serving. It goes beyond that.
Okay. May, I asked you about this right here. Can you tell me more about the dual wage system like you were telling me earlier? That's why I pulled this up.
Do you want me to read what's on the screen?
A little bit of
Or you
it,
want
please, if you don't mind. The best
Okay.
aspect of it.
Yeah, so the dual wage system refers to a compensation structure where the employees receive two different types of wages. So that's what Yvette was talking about at the beginning of our show. So a lot of times in a restaurant type situation, what will happen is the different, I don't know if you call them departments. What would you call them, Yvette? The different people.
Positions.
Right, the different positions get paid
Hmm.
differently. So you will get paid different salaries within the course of your shift based on the things that you're doing. So, like Yvette said, maybe for the first hour of your job, hosting, which would be a base salary of, who knows, whatever amount of money. And then when you switch over to serving, you would get paid a different amount and then get tipped out at a different rate. Does your bar get paid different, Yvette?
Yes, they get paid about maybe 8.38 an hour.
Right. So see, and so then the bar gets paid a little bit different. So that's what
Yes.
that's what this refers to. And then what happens is each place varies by how they distribute your tips as well. Some places tip you out only 20%. Some places make you tip out 10% to the cleanup crews. What else, Yvette? Who else?
Yeah, it depends on the restaurant. Some percentages will be only liquor sales. We do all sales for the bar. Some places do more liquor sales, but it'll be a higher percentage. So
Right.
depending where you are. But
So this is
we
where
don't
it
tip
gets
out our hosts, but there's a lot of restaurants who do tip out the hosts and the kitchen.
right. So this is where it gets tricky, and this was the other
Hmm.
part of this, with where they're saying, "Oh, let's pay these people a living wage, or like a higher minimum wage." And then they take away the tips or incorporate the tips in a different way, but it winds up being non-beneficial
Hmm.
because the taxes, the way that the money becomes taxed at that point, actually puts people in a lower, even though the income looks higher, it puts them in a lower standard of living because they're bringing home less because of how it's being taxed, if that makes sense to you.
Yes, it does.
So instead of coming
Absolutely.
home with, right, so instead of coming home with their cash on hand, which would be their tips,
Hmm.
now they're waiting the week and they're only getting tipped out a certain percentage of what they would normally be getting. And their actual income, since it is now higher, is being taxed at a higher wage also. So they're really bringing home less. And
Yes.
people don't get that somehow.
Hmm.
Um, so right, how I don't know how else what else I could really say about that. But the moral of the story is the only way we would help waitresses is if we paid them minimum wage and still allowed them to keep their tip system the way it is now. And corporations don't want to do that because it takes away from their finances. Um, but in reality, like these big corporations, they really should have no problem doing it. It shouldn't be an issue. And then you would probably get better quality servers if we're being honest, because you'd have people who'd be more invested in working. But I'll tell you what, like Yvette has been my sister-in-law since we were very young and she kills it as a waitress. Like not one person, she makes a comparable wage to anybody else I know, and she does it serving. So again, it is how you present yourself in your job, right? The more Yvette is one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my whole life, and it comes across in everything she does. So people gravitate to her. Like she said, she always has regulars. She always has people that come back and ask for her. Um, so again, I think another problem with this industry is you do have to be able to sell yourself. You have to have a good memory. You have to be able to remember what people want, what they need, what they're getting. Even if you're writing things down, you have to remember to grab everything and bring it to the table and do it in a timely fashion. You have to give people enough time between their appetizers and their meal. I think that people think that waitresses are stupid or that they don't have a meaningful job or that they don't have a job that requires much thought, which in reality, it's the complete opposite. They're probably doing the job of 10 people, especially if that they have to run their own food and everything else. I know a lot of the places you work, the vet, you on your downtime, you're rolling silverware, you're setting up
Hmm.
napkins, you're wiping down menus. It's not just you going to the table and bringing people food like people want to say. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's where a lot of my negative feelings toward a lot of these TikToks thing come to play because they're making it like, oh, all she's got to do is come over to this table and smile and, walk back and tell them, no, that's not all she's doing. She's
Yeah.
cleaning, she's prepping, she's, doing all these other things that just because you're not seeing them doesn't mean that they're not happening.
Absolutely.
right? And it depends on the place. What does your restaurant do? Do you guys roll all your stuff like at the end and in between your shifts, or do you do it per your section?
No, my amazing general manager took away rolled silverware. Like literally, it only takes like a half hour to get out of there
Oh,
because
good. That's
he didn't want to be like every other restaurant where you're there for 2 hours doing side work.
right. And see,
So
that's
we
the
don't
part of
roll
it that
silverware.
right. And then like the people who work in the bar, they have to do all the inventory. They have to,
Yeah.
do all the liquor. You know,
Well, and
again, I
all the
feel
cleaning.
yeah,
Who do you think like cleans everything? I mean, there's no cleaning crew to do all the woodwork and all that. And do
right.
I have to do those things? No, but I take pride in where I work. Like it's like my
Absolutely.
second home. So wouldn't want you want your second home to be clean?
Of course. Well, and who's going to go to a restaurant that's not clean? Like, let's be realistic.
Exactly.
If I go somewhere and it looks dirty, I'm not going to eat there again.
Yep.
You know. So
Exactly.
what do they require you to do for side work? Like, what do they make you do?
Side work, it's so easy. It's easy. Usually there's like on a Friday night there's like 3 people on a bev station. Like it's not and that's filling ice, getting glasses, you know. Then they're stocking like ketchups and stuff and napkins, and it's nothing ridiculous compared to Friendlies. It's nothing there. I mean, so that's where I was like, when I went to Longhorns, I was like, am I fucking crazy? Because like literally I was there for 2 extra hours doing all this stuff for less
Yeah,
money.
that's
I
right.
was like,
And
nope.
now, in your restaurant, the men still get paid more, or do you guys have fair wages for men and women? I don't know what it's like in
Fair
Connecticut.
wages for men and women, definitely. And it's
Okay,
we have it's funny because we have 3 male managers and 3 female managers, so it's very equal there.
Mm.
which is also nice.
Okay.
Yeah, except I don't know, the bar, there's no male bartenders, um but that's not really like, there's no one who really wants to do it, so it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Hello,
Like the bar
ladies.
is a
Hello.
lot of
Excuse
work.
me. Excuse me. I had an emergency just happen, but I wanted to bring a question into play. The
Mm-hmm.
question is, can you share any personal experiences you've had regarding harassment or mistreatment as a waitress, Yvette?
Yes. Let's go back to Friendlies. This was a big one for me. I was so upset. A guy threatened to throw his sausage at me if it wasn't well done.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah. I never waited on him again.
Okay.
And he pulled me to the side one day and really apologized with empathy and everything. Because I refused. I wouldn't wait on him. Nope, nope, nope. I refused.
Good. Good.
Yep.
That reminds me
And
of a
then
Jack
after that, he was
Nicholson
nice
movie.
to everybody.
yeah. Well, and who wants to be threatened? Like, I'm not going to work to be threatened. Get out of here. That's crazy
No.
pants, right? You're not going to
Yeah.
threaten me.
I don't think I would.
Absolutely
I
not.
don't think I would have had that job. He would have threatened to do something. He would have threatened to throw
Oh
something
my
at me. I
God.
wouldn't have had that job no more. That's why I don't work fast food.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be in the back. If I do the service industry, I got to be in the back. Put me in the dishwashing area, and I'm fine. I'm
With Big
fine with
Mike
that.
singing, Uptown.
Yep, exactly. Let me be in the back. I don't want to deal with people.
Well, you know what? That was my one and only. So the only like job in that fashion that I really worked outside of, family things was at McDonald's. And Ali, I felt the same exact way. I used to do all the back and prep work. I would
That's
cook,
right.
I would wash dishes, I would clean everything. But again, it was the one time I was ever on the register, and like my third customer was this old guy, and he was so horrible to me. I wound up walking away, and I told the manager, if you don't put me back in the back, I'm walking out right now and I'm not working anymore, because I just can't. Like, I'm not a people person like that. I just can't deal with people like that. I can't.
Exactly. I'll tell you guys my
Like
one
our
story.
love Ariana says, Yvette, I'm about to tell you about yourself.
Oh shit. I'll tell you guys one story, all right? I had a job at McDonald's by say, but I had thought that I would go get a job at the naval place. So I went and got a job on base at McDonald's. And I'm at this job, and this guy comes in. He had all these little badges and things on his chest, and he looks at me and he says, "I'm at the register. This is the first time. The one time I was at the register." And he looks at me and says, "He's like, you're gonna call me sir?" And I'm like, "I'm not in the military. I'm like 16 at this time." And I told him I'm not in the military, but he demanded that I called him sir too, and he was literally in front of everybody bolstering it. Man, I walked out of that job that day. That was the last time I wasn't gonna have nobody talk to me as he was talking to me, and that was it. I was done, and that was my one time that I dealt with customers. And then my next job, like I said, I worked in the back. I was dishwashing. I think I worked at Panera Bread, and I was dishwashing at Panera Bread, and that was it. Never again. Never again with people. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much with people. I get mad.
People are a lot.
They try to downgrade you. They downgrade you, I think, in working. I can remember working in them jobs, and I can remember like people going in there and having like attitudes like they, like I said, you're just a worker. Get my sandwich. And I think that's why I didn't work jobs like that. I didn't have jobs like that because the demand was just too much for me. I respect you, like I said, Yvette. I respect you. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to deal with people, and that's something that some of us don't have in us. Eventually, I could take but so much. And mind you, I try to keep a positive attitude every single day, but it will be that one day when life is just beating you down that somebody tries to just do something, and that's something that I'm not good at. I stay away from them situations.
To be honest, it's not the customers. It's my one coworker. I just wanna sometimes. It's not even the customers.
I could get it. I get it. It's either or. And I think that every day is challenging for somebody who's in the service industry, and that's why I wanted to bring the show. As soon as I was told about this show by May, I said, May, let's do it. Let's do the show, because I want to, like I said, salute, show tribute, and make sure that everything is heard from people such as yourself. And I wish I can have 1,000 more people up here speaking about their traumas and issues that happened during their experiences too, because I think it's needed for people to understand that these people are people and have lives too, and you shouldn't treat them that way, no matter how.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I definitely believe that. And at this time right now, ladies, I'd like to take a little commercial break. I'll see you in a second. Hello, welcome back. So, Yvette, how do societal attitudes towards service workers impact the treatment in restaurants?
Well, I feel like people think it's not a career. And they might feel I don't know, like we're the bottom of the chain, I guess.
I have a
But
question. I have a question right quick. I'm sorry to cut you off. I have a question.
yeah.
How can somebody that feeds the nation, that feeds people and makes sure that people are fed and nourished, how are they the bottom of the barrel? I heard your statement. How are they the bottom of the barrel?
I I don't I don't know, but I feel I've heard it a bunch of times in my life.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
but then when I made more money than maybe if I were to get a teacher, I made at a point in my life I made more money than a teacher.
Okay, I can agree. Teachers are underpaid too. They're treated horrible too. That's the reason why
Yes.
they're not teaching kids like they should be teaching kids. They're paid horrible too.
Yes.
I agree with you 100%.
Yep. Yep.
People that's teaching the nation and feeding the nation are the
Yes.
lowest paid people of the totem pole.
Yes.
I get it. That's why I brought it up here.
Yep.
$2.13. $2. What the fuck is $2.13? Seriously, how the fuck can a person live off two? I'm just going off the national average. I'm just going off the fucking minimum
No,
wage.
if you even and you probably don't even get anything in a paycheck. Nothing.
Well,
It's all
and like
taxes.
Yvette, and I think it goes to like what Yvette said. I think that people feel that the job is either uneducated people or people who haven't gone to school. And you know, in reality, a lot of people go get degrees and then bartend or work these kind of jobs to supplement their income. So
Absolutely.
to assume that someone is not intelligent just because they're a server, or to assume that they can't get a job doing something else, is not wonderful. And again, like Yvette had said, the pretense is they don't make money when that in reality is not true either. Even when Ray, my brother, who is Yvette's husband, and my cousin Tom used to work at the main fish market, they'd make $200-300 in tips a night.
I'm
You know,
glad
when
you
you're
speak of
walking
that.
out somewhere, yeah, when you're
I'm
walking
glad you
out of
speak of
somewhere
that.
on Friday night, $200 or $300.
You must have read my mind. You must have read my mind, man. You must have really read my mind. Hold on a second. I got something to show you guys.
Tips I make each hour of my work shift. I go in at 4 o'clock. I think I had 2 different eyelashes on, so that's fine. Okay, so from 4 to 5, I made $4 on card tips, $7 in cash, so that's about $11 that hour. And then from 5 to 6, I made $8. Just $8. And then from 6 to about 7, I had a $12 tip, a $7 tip, and then a $10 tip. So that's $29 that hour. And then from 7 to 8, I had a $7 tip, $3 tip, and then a $9 tip, which is $19. And then the last hour I had a $20 tip, a $12 tip, and then a $13 tip. So I made $45 my last hour of work. So I made $39 on card and then $69 in cash. So I made a total of $108. I got out almost 10 o'clock, so I worked about 6 hours. So it was okay. Let's see how much tips I make each.
All right.
Yeah, that's a Monday night.
Exactly. So when you actually think about it, they're not actually the lowest paid people. They are, mind you, it is so-called quote unquote said. And mind you, I think that the minimum wage is way too low. I think mandatory minimum wage, what they should get paid. Let's say nobody gives them a tip that day. What the fuck is that? You know, so that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
I think that's some bullshit. But on an average note, you have people coming by with, like you said, $200, $300.
Yeah.
May. That's not a far-fetched trick for a day, and that's pretty good for a day of work. You know,
Yeah,
$300 a day.
$270 on Veterans Day lunch.
See what I'm saying? So
And that was a lunch shift. Like, so think about it. That's
A
you
lunch
working during the
shift.
day.
That was not a double.
That's not even like working at night where you're doing liquor and stuff like that. You know, so again, for people to assume that these people aren't making any money or that they're not profitable or can't whatever, it's not true. The only thing that gets risky, like Yvette said, is the longevity of the restaurant.
Yeah.
So they don't tell you. So like my a girl that I used to work with, who's a very good friend of mine, her daughter was one of the people that worked at Fridays, and she showed up for her shift, and there was a sign on the door. Like they didn't call them, they didn't notify them, nobody told them. They like imagine showing up to work and there's a note on the fucking door.
Yep.
Especially if you're paying a mortgage and paying bills. So that's where it gets tricky, but
Yeah.
again, and things like that happen all the time. People get bought out by different corporations, they fire all the
Yep.
staff. Look at Nick's wife. She just lost her job and she's in insurance.
Yep.
So I feel like it's six in one hand, half dozen in the other. If you can
Yeah.
be successful. The other problem obviously with serving is as you get older, right, Yvette? Like you know this
Yes.
from your own experience, like,
Yep.
the damage to your knees and your hips and
Yep.
your legs, like you're standing long periods of time.
Yep.
Even
I
your
already
shoulders
have
up,
arthritis in both my knees and my back. So, it just takes
you
a
know.
toll on your body.
I bet you it does. Standing on your feet 8 hours a
Yep.
day or with
Yeah.
overtime. I mean, that's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's what I mean.
I just learned about sports tape. I do sports tape. Highly recommend it. And I mean, I
Yeah,
wear
give
compression
them some
socks every freaking
recommendations right
day.
quick. What recommendations do you have for younger women who's in the industry? What they can do to help themselves throughout, so that later on it's not killing themselves.
Compression socks, not the ones to the knees. Like I know people hate those ones. It like the running ones, like the ones that just go up your calf a little bit.
Okay.
Then just that will like just make your feet not hurt at all.
Hmm.
I do that and I do Crocs at work, non-slip Crocs,
Okay.
and that's my go-to. Like,
Okay.
and then when I had my knee surgeries, I started taping.
Hmm.
I had 2 knee surgeries. Um, just like the basketball stars, they
You
hurt
guys are
themselves.
stars.
They do sports tape, right?
You guys are
Exactly.
stars. Okay.
I'm the same way. I'm like,
Let's
let me
get
tape
into a
that for
little
you.
more help. What
Yeah.
kind of mental help can you offer people when they come into restraint times when waitressing? Like when you come into them times, them days when there's a customer and it's like you just don't feel like being fucking bothered and it's just the wrong
Yep.
day. What kind of
Yep.
advice can you give them then?
Fine. It's okay to like tell the manager or maybe find the veteran server like myself. Like I told you about this girl Victoria, I'm going to lose it. Like starts crying. I'm like, "Okay, let me take the table." Or they have transferred the table as soon as I get there. A couple of these girls because these people make them so anxious. And I've been there forever. So, I mean, if there's someone, but I don't know if everybody's as caring as I am.
Okay.
I mean, let's hope there is there someone that's, been there for a while, who's a team player. I don't know, a support system. I wish they had that in all the places. It's not, I'm here for me. It's, we're in this together.
Absolutely.
I believe that, but as I know
I
how
know.
today is, a lot of people and their
I
attitudes,
know.
and a lot of older people don't feel like being bothered with the younger ones, so they don't
I
teach them
know.
anymore. They don't help out like that, and that's a problem. But at the same time,
Yes.
you know, we have to be willing to change that. We have to as people. I can't
Yes.
change it. And
You have
you,
to. Well, and that's what, I, without being asked, I know I'm the role model. I know.
good. All right. Good. Good. It's not usually that. It's not usually that case. It's not usually that situation, and they
I
usually
know they
don't
all look
listen.
up to me.
That's good.
I
That's
know.
good.
I know they need me because, I mean, even this girl Victoria. She's like, I'm gonna lose it if they seat me one more time. I'm like, okay, let me go tell the host. Like, I mean, and that gets to the point where it was like, I had to kick out this manager in training out of one of my tables so I can take more tables.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. I
But
get it. I sense that you're taking the responsibility on your back, and that you have been in this restaurant that you worked in for quite some time, and you
yes,
became one of the contributors to the benefit of the restaurant, which is a beautiful thing.
yes,
It's a beautiful thing, and
yeah,
the owners should be thankful to you. I have another
yeah,
question for us here.
yeah.
And what changes do you think need to happen in the industry to improve conditions for waitresses?
Oh,
I know it's a hard question. I know it's very
I
deep.
know. It's kind of like, and
Yep.
it just because my ADHD, it's going all different ways.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what. Remember this question for me right here, right? Because I have some
Yeah.
interesting statements, and I'll read them to you since
Okay.
they're kind of small. But I was exploring some possible solutions and policy changes in employee protections, and I was like, raise the minimum wage for tip workers. May, you said that earlier. You agree with me? Implement a full minimum wage for tips with tips included. That right there is raise the minimum wage for tip workers. Tip pooling regulations. I think you guys need more regulations for tip pooling. And I don't really like tip pooling, but
I don't like tip pooling.
yeah, I
No,
understand
we
that,
ain't
but
doing that.
they need regulations behind it. They need regulations behind it to separate it from becoming community property, because they worked hard for that money. One worked harder than the
Absolutely.
other. So that's what I'm saying. One deserves the money. I
Like
can understand if they put 10% of what
Well,
they
that's going to
actually
happen a
earned
lot in the
in.
mom and pop places.
Yes,
The
okay.
small businesses pool tips.
Okay, absolutely. Absolutely, but the guaranteed minimum earnings, I think that is mandatory. That's why I keep listing guaranteed minimum earnings, minimum wage, actual minimum wage should be added onto their paycheck. Whatever they do after that is based on their God-given talent. But I think employee protections need to be guided too, with health and safety protections. I think a lot of waiters and waitresses these days are under attack. I think that they at any given moment can walk out to their car at the end of their damn shift, and it'd be some bullshit.
Yes.
So I think that employee protections need to be guided and set in the right things. I think that business owners, me as a business owner, I think, and anybody who works for me, I really want them to be in a comfortable place in their life. I think that people, the better they are and the more relaxed they are, the more they perform at a positive level. You know, the performance level rises. And I think that's important as any owner, or as any kind of, like I said, as any kind of person of business. I think that is mandatory.
Absolutely.
Access to benefits. I think that waitresses, I was also researching, there's not many benefits or health benefits that come with being a waitress. There's not many. It's not. They don't have a 401k.
You know, you're right. Because they can work short shifts.
Yep.
So that's the problem they have. You have to work over 35 hours, but literally you'll work 6 days a week and 3 doubles, and you still don't hit that.
It comes to a difference, I think on a level like this, okay? I want to explain to both of you guys. Now, there's a guy in the office, and he sits in a chair, and he's in an AC conditioned office, and he's behind a computer. He may know how to use Microsoft Word, and yes, he may know how to use it well. But at the same time, then I take this woman, she works inside the kitchen of this restaurant. She sweats all day. Her feet hurt. She has corns and all these things out the side of her feet. And she is putting in work all day on her feet like a laborer. I think of who has the more comfortable time and more comfortable earning, and he obviously does, sitting inside the office, but at the same time, which one is more valuable? He may be the he may run word for a Fortune 500 company. Yes, he may keep that company very viable. But let's face it, she is. McDonald's has one of the biggest slogans: "Over a billion served." It's like, okay, the level of service is it's a little off putting. Just like I said, LeBron could shoot a shot. He can make a 3-pointer. And if you practice enough, you can make a 3-pointer under stressful situations. I get it. He's very talented. But his job is a lot easier than yours. His job is a lot easier than yours, and I pay respects to that. Military workers who go and risk their lives. Veterans Day just happened. I'd like to show another respect to veterans. I think of them, and they risk their lives and sign their lives up on a dotted line to die or kill for a country that they love. But they come home and starve, or they come home and they're underpaid, or they're fighting to find a damn job.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up, and we're fucked up as a society.
It is, and they gotta wait months to get into a doctor. Don't get me started.
Yeah, I get it. And I have seen it for quite some time, and even Vietnam vets, they have a horrible, tragic ending to their patriotic duties. And I think that should stop. I think all of this shit should stop. That's why I mentioned basketball players. Now, mind you, I don't want LeBron to feel neglected at all. I think his talents are wonderful. But at the same time, man, come on, man. There's people who are actually putting their lives at line, and going hard for this country. And that matters. That matters to me. All right. I don't know about you guys, but that matters to me. Excuse me?
Our military. Thank you, everyone, for your service.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and
Veterans.
if you want a free burger next year, come to Red Robin.
Okay. Okay. Right quick. Let's go over here and let's say, Yvette, what's one thing you wish customers understood about your job?
Just more understanding.
More understanding about what?
Yeah, just more understanding of if their ticket got misplaced, or maybe the food's taking a little long. That there can be different situations,
Okay, absolutely.
Just
okay. I didn't get that. You're moving out. She moved somewhere.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go. I have to charge my phone in the car.
It's fine. You're back on now.
Sorry.
Can you finish the last statement to that question?
Yes. Hold on one second.
All right.
Oh, and I don't have my keys. All right. Hold on one second, guys. Okay.
No problem. May, what is your insights? What is your insights on what is your insights on, I know you know and have friends that work inside this industry. What is your insights of their thoughts about what's going on with their job?
What, in terms of what?
In terms of, hold on one second. Let me get us back, because she okay. In terms of how they are feeling about working every day, and as far as how they're feeling about their comfortability as citizens, as people.
Well, like I said, I feel like, again, it's a lot of the things we've discussed. People being disrespectful to them, people feeling as though their jobs are not important, the physical wear and tear that it does put on your body. But most of the servers I know really like serving. They make good money, they make great tips. And honestly, a lot of the people I know that serve, even after they've gone to school, still wind up serving or doing other things, like I said. Even when they have other jobs, they will always serve on. It's kind of like hairdressing. Like, I feel like hairdressers are the same way, right? Like
It's a
they'll get
side
other
hustle.
jobs and then they still do hair on the side. So I don't know. I feel like it's one of those professions because I think you get used to the fast money,
Okay.
right? You get
Okay.
used to that
You
cash
do.
on hand. And when
Well,
you're
yeah,
used to being able to go to work and come
absolutely.
out with $100, it sucks to have to wait 5 days to get that $100, right?
Mm,
So,
Yes, yes,
and
okay.
I think that people
absolutely.
don't give waitresses enough credit for putting up with people's shit either. Like, people are demanding and nasty and they want what they want and they're never happy with certain things and as
They
a
are
waitress or
very
waiter, you have to
impatient.
manage that people,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was just wondering what you heard from the people that you know. I've heard things from the people that I know too, and I know that's why I sit here and say these things because I know it's kind of fucked up for them, and I know that, like I said, what the fuck is $2.13? That's ridiculous. Yvette, what
Yes.
changes do you think need to happen in the industry to improve conditions for waitresses? What changes do you think need to happen? I think I asked you this.
A
I asked
better
you this
pay
question.
rate. Does it have to be minimum wage? Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I feel like maybe a better pay rate,
Okay.
maybe making sure you can add on gratuity if you want to.
Okay. Okay. Like how I did that.
No
See, I
matter
came
if
back
it's a
around with the question. I came back around with the question, and
yeah.
I remember your first answer. I remember your first answer to this question right here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I
Yep.
went into the info screen. You said you didn't know, and then I went into this screen right here, and then we
Yep.
talked about it a little bit, and then we talked about it a little bit,
Yep.
and then see this time you gave me an answer to it, and that was perfect. I love how it ended up. I love how it went, and I love how it turned out. What's
Mhm.
one thing? Oh nope, hold up. I asked you this. Hold up. I meant to go to this question. How do you cope with difficult customers? And I think I asked you how would you tell
Yes.
somebody to do it, but how do you yourself cope with difficult customers?
How do I cope with difficult customers? Well, it's tough because my restaurant you could bring some fries ahead of time or salad. So I'd be bribing them with food.
Good one. Good
Yeah.
one. Sit here, shut up, and eat these fries.
My
Exactly.
rush. Oh, you need to try this sauce. This is the good stuff.
Okay. So you kind of convert um uh you kind of convert bad energy to give it something to calm it down. Like they say, the Snickers bar.
Yes.
You know how the person's angry
Yeah.
without the Snickers. Okay, yeah, you get me.
Yeah. Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
All right. All
Yep.
right. I like it. I like it. I like your technique. I like it. I think people can learn from that technique
Mhm.
because that right there that's a good add-on to a technique.
Just make but just making you have a good relationship with your kitchen because I mean, if your burger's undercooked or overcooked, right? If I can get your burger out in 3 minutes, are you going to be mad at me?
No, not at
No.
all.
Probably not.
Not at all. Is it cooked how I want it?
That's why they call them HOH, heart of house. Okay,
Got you.
so
Got
that's
you.
who you know, you have to have that connection with your kitchen.
Okay.
Like
Mhm.
I just have it with them. And I mean, there's times where they're like completely shocked that, I mean, I usually like, I, so say your food comes on top of your appetizer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're a little upset. I can tell, but you're not going to say it. I'm going to just like take it off. I'm not even talking to the manager. I'll just take it off.
Okay.
It's will make you happy and make you come back. I know what
Okay.
I need to do.
Okay. I get it.
And yeah, they're good about it though. They know I bet, yeah, they know.
You
because
sound like
I'm
a
like,
real live
I
professional. You sound like a really strong professional.
and they could check the times that I delayed the food like 15 minutes too. That
Okay.
means the appetizers were backed up.
Okay.
So the tickets were too long.
So you help your back kitchen with the time
Yes.
limits. Okay, that is a team player. You sound like a
Yes.
wonderful worker, wonderful person. Um, I
Well,
I, I, I
you
applaud
gotta,
you.
you know, about those things.
Okay, sounds wonderful. Sounds wonderful. Okay, ladies. Today's random question, and excuse me, Yvette. What I have on this show is a
Yes.
couple segments. One of them is called randoms, and randoms comes from three different categories. It either comes from friends and family, it comes from the internet and news, or it comes from men want to know. And tonight's question is from the audience. What's the strangest request you've received from a customer? That's what they want to know. What is the strangest request you've received from a customer?
I don't know. Oh my God. Strangest request. Oh, you know what? Someone said I was so easy to talk to. She said I should work with her as a therapist.
Oh my goodness.
So yes, and I oh my God. So I like love where I work, right? So I got another request and I was on the spot, so I gave him my number and I'm like ghosting him now. He says an amazing customer service and I should be a recruiter for his company.
Actually, you know what, Yvette? You would probably be good at that. I don't know why I'm getting.
I know, but
Okay, I'm sorry. Excuse me, ladies. I have a question by our audience, and it says, "Where's Keya?" Excuse me, Keya tonight is having issues and with her internet, and we've had internet issues this whole time. She will be back on next week. Please believe it. But I also would like to say the strangest request I've ever gotten from a customer is to let them have it for free. May, what is yours? Because you work inside the service industry too. What is yours?
So that's why. So I have my massage therapy license as well as being a nurse and all this other crap I do, and that's why I stopped doing massage therapy because I got all these creepy men. And the last time I gave a massage, the guy asked me if I would take off my shirt and do it, and he'd give me $500. And I said, no. Like, well, I didn't ask you to do anything. I just want you to take off your shirt. You could leave your bra on. I was like, no. Like, and he was like so dumbfounded, like he couldn't believe I wouldn't do it. So I wound up having to ask him to leave because he kept like doubling down on it. And after that, I was like, you know what? This is just not worth it.
I get it. Before I get into this before I get into this audience question, I would like to say, May, give me $500. I'm sorry, I put some tape on my shit. Let's go. Give me my $500. Let me stop playing. I'm playing. Okay. Kizzy Butler had a question. What is the meanest thing a angered customer said to you? And this is going to Yvette.
Said to me, I don't know. It might have been like when the pandemic first happened, we had to write down phone numbers. And this guy refused to give me his phone number. And I'm like, well, just give me the damn phone number and I'll cross it out. Like, corporate's watching. And so he did. And he ended up being like my best regular.
Okay.
Get the whole privacy thing, you know.
I get it.
make it like light. I was like, dude, I'll just cross it out after, I swear. Don't give me any issues. I'm not
See,
the one.
see, a female waitress asked me for my number. I'm be like, no, back off me, no. Play. Anyways, this was a very interesting. This is a very interesting random section at this time right now. I'd like to give you ladies a break. We'll be right back after this commercial.
It's a bright end of summer day at 1:50 p.m. A 24-year-old young man is outside, trying to make some money by selling weed and crack. Two guys, acquaintances, approach him and quickly shake, hands in greeting. They all share a blunt in friendship before two of them leave, while the third continues, hustling to provide for himself. After 40 minutes, the two guys return in an angered state. They complain about being threatened, assaulted, and robbed. They rant angrily, discussing the idea of getting a gun. I understood that they came to me because they knew I already had one, but since I didn't give mine up, promises were made to return, and for me to go with them. I complied and the two left, only to return about 6 hours later. We arrived at the house of the accused, but something felt off. Talks of betrayal and setups filled the air. As I sat and listened, I realized that this was the accused middleman. The accused denied all accusations, but as the conversation intensified, I noticed one of the people I came with start quickly, pulling out his pistol. He pointed it at the man and then quickly turned the gun towards the bed, a move meant to frighten the man into speaking. The man jumped every time the gun was quickly pointed at his chest. This torturous game continued for 8 rounds, becoming more and more intense. I remember by the 3rd round, the voice became lustful, dripping like salivation from the lips. The 7th round was particularly unsettling, as the conversation turned bloodlust and vengeful. But it was the 8th round that turned disastrous. The sound became mute, and all I remember is the bang, the flash, as the point-blank blast took its toll. A few moments passed, and sound returned only to hear a man holding his chest crying out, "You shot me! You shot me!" His breathing began to slow, and he pleaded, "Oh God!" Another blast went off. Suddenly, I woke up lying on my bed in a studio apartment, with lights outside going crazy. After a period of slumber, I got up to check the mailbox, only to realize I was being watched. While retrieving the mail, I was stopped and asked questions. Luckily, my accent allowed me to escape probable cause. In this story, all the participants were good people, caught up in a societal disease we all live in. These are the stories of a young man who had to survive in a world where nothing can be predicted and situations change in an instant. These stories vividly depict how life can go wrong due to the decisions we make. The same person in this
Okay, ladies, this is the part of the show before we close out where we sound off on the things that we may have to say about the show. Whether you have an issue, whether you're mad, it don't even have to be about the show. It could be somebody pissed you off earlier. But please, this is your moment to sound the fuck off. So I would like to take a moment and let our special guest sound off right now. Yvette, please, you got the floor.
I don't know. Thank you for having me on the show. This was a good day to do it, I think. I feel like, I don't know, I was like a little bit mentally checked out at work. I'm not gonna lie. It was a crazy weekend. I mean, I made amazing money, but sometimes it can be a lot, especially when it's like so much thinking. Like when it's crazy like that, like people don't understand, but it's not even your body's tired, you're mentally tired,
The worst tired.
so but someone's got to do it, right?
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, no, thank you for having me, but you know feeling pretty good today, so I'm glad that there's people on our side, like, for sure. um I love the passion of your show, being an Aries and all, you know. So we're very passionate people about what we do. Um, and that's kind of why I wanted to come on here too. So, I mean, just to be that voice out there, you know.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know they appreciate it. I know they appreciate it. And they did hear you tonight. They did hear you tonight. May, please sound the fuck off for me. What you got to talk about?
So I just want to say that I want to remind people that no matter how insignificant you feel a person's job or title or position is, um, everybody has meaning. And it's like the old story about the ants and the grasshopper. Regardless of how insignificant you feel a piece to a puzzle is, it's still a piece. And I feel like we lose track of that with these type of workers in society, whether we're having a bad day or it doesn't live up to our expectation. We personally take it out on people when we shouldn't be. Dunkin' Donuts workers, McDonald's workers, people look down on them, they disrespect them, they talk to them poorly. These are people that you're relying on to provide you with a service. Like they're making your coffee, they're providing the food that you don't want to cook, or the lunch that you did not make. So for you to treat them as though they are insignificant or a bottom of the barrel, it almost becomes like the whole it's almost like going back to a slave type mentality, right? Where you are forced to do this for me. No, nobody's forced to do it. They're working a job just like you are, and this is how they're providing themselves with their income and their lifestyle. So the same courtesy you would want being afforded and granted to you in your position is the same that we should be presenting them with. If not a little
Agreed.
bit more, because honestly, like we just talked about tonight, they're getting paid shit and they're putting up with 3 times as much and doing double the work. So, at the end of the day, sometimes you have to respect the little people because they're really, how well are you going to function without your D&D coffee in the morning, right? They don't say the world runs on Dunkin' for no reason. If there's no people there to make it, you ain't getting the damn coffee. So, again, I feel like we need to be a little bit more humble as a society and stop looking down on there used to be that show on TV, Allie. Do you remember it? The Odd Job show. Yvette, do you remember that Odd Job show? And like
I
he
think I
would go
remember it.
around and he would go for the day with all these people that did all these
Yep.
weird random jobs that you would never
Yep.
think of, that were like horrific, like drain sewage systems and empty porta potties and clean like the pig pens at different places. And these are all things that we don't necessarily think about on a day-to-day basis, or if we do,
That's right.
again, we try to say that the people are uneducated, they can't get better jobs, they this and that, which, even if that is the case, there still has to be someone there to perform that job. So,
Fact. Fact. And it is
right,
labor. It is labor and it should be paid for. It is.
absolutely.
It is. I would like to say, for sound off, which y'all didn't say. And I'm going to say just like this to all people. If you such a fucking baller that you could take your ass out to enjoy your fucking meal and expect somebody to go do the shit for you, then expect to act like a fucking baller at the end of the night and make sure that the person that took care of you is okay too. That's it. Act like a, and if you're gonna act like you got money, then really act like you got fucking money. If not, stay your ass home, cook your fucking meal, and call it a fucking night. All right.
Yeah. Amen.
So, before we close out, Yvette, I got 2 more questions for you before I close out, and these are only for you, and they're going to be written on the screen. Share your insights on the systemic issue faced by waitresses. Share your insight on what issues, I know I use systemic, but it is a system of issues that follows waitresses. So for the last cap off, or the key of the show, I'm asking you, because I'm not going to do a final thought tonight. So I'm kind of guiding you into the final thought for waitresses, waiters, people of service.
Just stability really. It can be tough in that industry, you don't know if you're gonna have 2 tables or 20 tables, yeah, and it's hard right now, because even I work lunch and it's like people working from home, and then people just don't want to come out anymore. They just don't have the money during the week. Like, I feel like they're only out on the weekends. I mean, I work all weekend long because I know that's where the money is. Like, I can't just do Monday through Friday anymore like I used to before the pandemic. Like, your weekends are shot. There's no you're done. There's no, you got to go by your server schedule. Like, my husband's home all weekend, I'm at work. Like, but that's what we got to do to survive. So,
Unfortunately. Second
yep,
question.
yep,
What type of changes could help support wait staff? What kind of immediate changes?
absolutely minimum wage, like closing time, opening time. Like, I thought another one we didn't talk about is training. They are only paying you server wage to train.
Okay.
That's not right. That's not right. Why would you want to train then if there's not an extra, rate for you? Minimum wage rate to train somebody. I mean, that's just definitely extra work, and
Absolutely.
especially if you want to do it the right way, the good way. I was kind of shocked when corporate changed that too.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to thank you, Yvette, for the night. I really do applaud you and thank you for showing up here and expressing to people the need for this and showing people really the hardships that come with it, because within your testimony, we've seen it through your eyes. And I encourage everyone watching to be mindful of how you treat service workers, advocate for fair treatment, support policies for living wages, and speak out against harassment. Together, we can create change. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Gag Order. Let's continue to challenge norms and inspire change in our communities. Good night to everybody. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Good night, everybody. Good
Good
night,
night.
Yvette.
Thank
I love
you.
you.
Good night.